mythology. And
Ronnie.
what up, Ronnie? Yeah, it's a very solid mythology, but like at one point, one of the popes was just like, "That shit's talking about aliens. Fuck that. That's heresy," and then just got rid of it. But it's also in the
Yeah,
Dead Sea
well,
Scrolls, and it's also in multiple other scriptures, and it's one of the oldest scriptures of all time, and it's written by Enoch, who was um, Noah's great grandfather, I believe.
Enoch was Noah's great.
So for
Noah's
like a
great
couple
great.
thousand years, or like a couple, at least a couple, yeah, a couple thousand years, it was considered scripture. And
Yeah,
then
it was
somebody
the
was
modern
like,
day.
"Nah,
It was it was the it was the I think that got removed from scripture. I want to say in like the 1830s or the
I was gonna say it was
1840s.
like the 1800s, 1700s, or 1800s, I think."
Yeah, because like that was actually considered to be like part of scripture
That was
until the
part of the
Catholic
Old
Church
Testament. It
deemed
was part of the Old Testament, but like, yes.
that
So like,
it
if you
didn't
buy a
fit
Bible
the Old
today,
Testament.
yes, if you buy a Bible today that came out today, none of them will have the Book of Enoch. But you can
Nope.
just buy the Book of Enoch, and bro, it ain't even that fucking religious. It's just a story this fucking dude lived. He talks about going up into the chariot, into the spinning chariot with the golden skinned winged gods. And he talks about going up there and spending time in their ship, and it was all white. Everything was white, bright lights, LEDs. Like, bro, he's fucking describing a UFO you see in a movie in the fucking Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
He's describing the aliens that people have been drawing, even in cave walls, for thousands of years. The Book of Enoch is fucking nutty. We're definitely doing that in February. Everybody, right now, that's your homework for February. The Book of Enoch. All Psalms.
But tonight we got the moon and I guess
Indeed.
in a way also space. So
Yes, sir. We're talking
so
some
I
nutty
want
shit, guys. Also, we got new
so
profile pictures. We got a new background. I'm going to show that real
yep.
quick. Hold up. Hold up. I'm going to remove everybody for a second and then just show the
Yeah,
new background.
take us out.
Boom. Boom. Look at that shit. We all got new pictures.
Isn't that hard as hell?
We all
It's
got that
very
new
nice.
background, bro, dude. I have actually 7 different versions of that background. But you got Roman and I chilling down there in the corner, hanging out with the chat. That's perfect. Look at that. Look at that.
Right? See?
We're sitting there with chat, looking at all the craziness going on behind in front of us. You got me inspecting. You
So
got Roman's using the profile picture of me with a purple energy sword and him with a laser gun shooting a ton of aliens in an Egyptian crypt.
I
And then you
know,
have Muffin,
right?
who's the Serpoian.
Right? No, but
Yeah,
so I
banana
wanted to
onions.
Banana okudasai.
so so actually to to get this conversation going actually, since I know Roland's view on this and y'all know mine, Muffler, if you would like, do you believe in
Yes,
like
sir.
aliens and like the like extraterrestrial and such? Like, do you like buy into that stuff or no?
It's a super complicated question. From the most basic level, I think that panspermia is probably a thing. So if you define life as any biologic like in space that may have a xeno origin from Earth, not from Earth. Yeah, sure. Like that's totally a thing,
Well, there's
but
bacteria on Mars.
Well, I don't even mean like Mars. I mean like it could come from outside of the solar system too, like on like these different comets and stuff like that. Like like the one that's passing around the sun right now and stuff. So just so I think that is 100% a thing, and there shouldn't be like a really big debate on that part. It's just about like higher level organisms, right? So on that front, I think that. The way the universe works, it sort of precludes it for the most part.
Okay.
So again, and that's just the way things they work in a complex way. For example, like this is something we can get into when we talk about the Younger Dryas sometime, but if you and what they've discovered recently too is that the precursor to Homo sapiens sapiens may have been as far back as like 1.3 million years ago. So that's a long time.
Long fucking time.
To like separate off, from like Denisovans as well as Neanderthals and stuff. So the fact that we've had our same brain capacity over that long a time means that we've had a long opportunity to try to do some stuff in different pockets of the planet. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you find evidence of it? Brings up a whole lot of other questions that you can ask. But the big thing is that I think that there's probably some type of cyclical catastrophism that probably happens either associated with our planet or just with the Milky Way in general.
So So since you just said something like that, I do have a counterpoint.
Okay, sure.
But before that counterpoint, just because you mentioned the Younger Dryas, and I have to bring this up. This isn't a question for you. This is a question for the chat. Why do we find Egyptian hieroglyphs in the Grand Canyon? Why is there a specific location where those hieroglyphs were found and photographed in the Grand Canyon that is now a no-fly zone for zero reason? And if you go there, you get arrested. Because at one point there was another world society similar to what we have with Atlanteans, I believe.
Yep.
I believe Atlanteans, and we're going to talk about that in January. And then I guess, you know what? Since you brought it up earlier, Muffler Tape, let's make March the sun.
Okay, sure.
At the Dryas.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
What's
totally
up,
down.
Orlando? What's up, Alex Joners? Yeah, they're putting chemicals in the water. They're making the frogs gay.
Yeah. Yeah, but so like I think that when you get to the implications of some stuff that's just specifically space weather news, like you're talking like the Suspicious Observers guy, like Ben Davidson and stuff, like a lot of his stuff is pretty solid. It's just some of his conclusions I disagree with on some levels, right? But as far as how the Milky Way works and stuff, I think that there's a possibility, a strong likelihood that suns, do have somewhat, reoccurrent micronova that would happen, and that's not the same thing as like a supernova. It's something that would basically only affect the solar system that they're in, but it has to do with the electromagnetic field of not only the Milky Way but also the individual suns, the solars that are out there, and stuff like that. So I think that when you consider that fact, any advanced civilization that's using electricity will most likely get knocked out periodically. And if they don't wipe themselves out completely, it would take them, I don't know, about 12,000 plus years to try to get their shit together again. And even then, so I think that there's mitigating factors that are just part of being alive in the universe that would preclude somebody from advancing super high, in my opinion, at least through our traditional methods that we understand. It would have to be something significantly different.
So a follow-up then,
guys. I'm creating 2 Alex Jones clips right now. Okay, so if I'm a little bit quiet for a second.
Oh god.
He's touching himself, chat.
So I have then I have a follow-up for you. So then are you not then necessarily
I'm here, but
are you not necessarily against the notion that there is life outside of our solar system then?
Oh
Like, do you
no,
think that
I
there is like a
definitely,
possibility of it?
yeah, I definitely think it exists. It's just not necessarily in the. It's not going to be as romantic as the conspiracies make it out to be, in my opinion.
Okay. And
For the
how much
most part,
merit
yeah.
how much merit how much merit do you think that these conspiracies have? Because there's people that I think have had like really, really good like cases of like abductions and there's like proof of it and such. Um, how many of these people do you think are actually telling like the truth about like encountering aliens or like UFOs and such? And how many of them do you
Well,
think are just like not being honest?
Well,
Like,
I think
what's
that
your take
it's
on that?
very sure. I think it's very easy for the mind to believe whatever it wants to believe in those instances, man. And I can give you an example from my uncle who was up
Sure.
in like the Dakotas, and he was doing drilling up in the Dakotas, right? And when he
Yep.
was passing through one of I guess the Badlands, basically a no man's zone up there. He had to drive like, I don't know, 5+ hours in one direction with, basically nobody else on the road and stuff. The thing is that he had one of those time dilation moments for him where he saw like an orb, basically, like you could say it could have been like oh, what do you call that? Mm, where it's ball lightning. It could have been ball lightning because it was like an orb or
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then he had like a time dilation where he was supposed to have traveled like 5 or 6 hours, and he got there in like under two or something, and he like almost lost track of
Oh
time and
wow.
stuff as well. Like so, it was like a weird blip type thing for him, and. Yeah, I mean, he could have been abducted. There could have been all kinds of stuff, I guess, but like he just described looking at the clock and then he's just driving in the middle of the night and stuff and then seen like an orb, and it like
Yeah,
followed
that's
him, I
crazy.
think is what he was saying too. Like it was pretty trippy. So, we always joke
Orb
around that he
following
may have
him?
been probed. Yeah. it was funny.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So, but yeah, so he's a believer, and I respect it, but I've never encountered anything that I would describe as alien unless you start considering like maybe other paranormal experiences being aliens as well. And then we can
So
maybe get into that realm.
y- yeah, because you know what? I've kind of always thought of paranormal stuff, not even so much as like, demonic or ghosts. Like, I've always thought of like paranormal encounters as maybe like
Demons are fucking real.
extraterrestrial or like,
They're
or
interdimensional.
like,
That's my theory, and I'll
Yeah.
talk about it in a second. They're interdimensional. They're not necessarily religious. Demons are real, and fucking Muffler Tape and I have enhanced our minds at points in time, and I'm guarantee you he has fucking seen one, and I have too. And I've been in a room with somebody else that points at it,
I
and then a
believe you.
third person goes, "What the fuck is that?" And if you guys have watched our show, I've brought this story up multiple times. My first time on LSD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roland
So
and like two of our friends all saw the same thing, and like they
And
like
then we
each
all went to
drew.
3 different corners of the room and all drew it without looking at each other's pictures, and all drew the same thing, except somebody drew one with a red face and a blue face, and I drew one with a white face. And my two friends that were
Yeah,
sober were freaked the fuck out. It was
yeah,
in my house.
but
yeah, that's
My
weird.
house, my house
but
is also haunted, and I fucking believe it. I've told you guys the stories before, but I gotta get back
I
to
will
editing
say,
real quick. I'll be right back.
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Um, no, but so like I'll say that I think it's wild. Like so. Have you ever muffler had a have you ever had a paranormal encounter? I think because I think that I did once.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I have had two personally.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
what? So when I when I lived in my aunt's house, she had like a sliding door that would like go out to her back patio, and like there was this time where like it was only me at home, and so like And so like when I like went in there, bro, it was literally closed. Like there was like no one else there, and I'm in my room, and I remember I'm literally playing Assassin's Creed, and dude, I hear it open and close like 4 separate times, and I'm like, bro, what? But like no one came in. There was no footsteps, nothing. It just slammed, and then there was a little crack on like the bottom of the glass door. I was like, what the hell was that? It was scary. It was scary as hell. And so that was my like one like paranormal um thing that happened to me. I don't even know like I don't know like what it was or nothing. I was like 16. But yeah.
Sure.
So
That's
so
trippy.
I've always so I've always thought that paranormal stuff was like aliens. That's always been my, not even so much aliens, but just um like extraterrestrial stuff. So kind of to play on to your point that you made earlier about how like there could be or like you mentioned about how like there's a whole lot of conspiracies out. Um
Hmm.
do you think that Area 51 is housing like extraterrestrials and like aliens, or do you think the Area 51 could be housing just like stuff that like the government doesn't like want us to see? Because I've always thought that the reason that they don't want us in Area 51 would be that it would confirm officially that like aliens are like a thing, and that's why they don't want us there. That's kind of my view.
So I think that well, there's two. Well, technically there'd be three different situations related to that. So, um, the most basic one, which I think is almost a certainty, would be the fact that that is a location where they are doing advanced testing for our own technology for defense, right? So I think that that would be the most logical thing right away that I could say without a shadow of a doubt that yeah, they're definitely doing that there, but it's just a question of what it is, right? And then you go into those secondary questions, and my father would definitely tell you that there's aliens there, right? But on my end, I would think that I don't necessarily think that it's aliens personally, because I think that if we've learned anything about the government, it's that for one, you can't trust them, and for the most part, and two, the other issue with it is
Yep.
that you know I think that they're just having the cloak around it, where people don't know. The speculation itself can cause like fear in your enemies because they don't know what you have going on, and the fact that some people in our own country would believe that aliens exist, right? There's nothing to say that that doesn't exist everywhere around the world, like with China and Russia and stuff too, right? And so I could totally see just that threat that oh well we what if we do have aliens, right? You can
Okay.
yeah, you can use that as a tool
So
to
let me ask
manipulate
you
your
a
enemies as
question.
well.
Let me
So
ask you a
I
question,
I think
Muffletape, while
closer to
I'm
that.
editing this. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why then do we have the same depiction of a gray alien with the big eyes and the two dots for a nose and the small mouth and the large head? Why is that for thousands of years been depicted? Why is that inside the tombs of some of the Egyptians? Why do we have that as just a quintessential thing in our knowledge? We are born knowing that
Hmm.
alien. So why is that?
Well,
That's me.
for us, I think it's really, really, really because I mean, like, because you have to understand what time you live in. So, like, as far as that goes, like,
No, why
Hollywood as
why
well as
why has that been the same picture
but
since back then? Why did
so,
those people also draw it?
but that's not the only image that they've drawn, right? And so the thing is that what I would
No,
direct
but
you
that
to is
image
the
has
fact.
appeared in every religion in every country, everywhere.
What is tied to ancient religions?
What do you mean?
So to answer your question, I think that it has to do with altered brain states, including hallucinogens and stuff, which would also explain why the Egyptians were able to see that and stuff. So like, it could be like interdimensional type stuff, so that would be.
I've seen machine elves. They don't look like that.
But I was just giving that as an example. Okay, that's a specific one that you would get with DMT, but that's not necessarily always what you get. What would be the effect?
I didn't get it with DMT. I actually got it with mushrooms.
Okay, I have not had that on mushrooms.
Dude, it was my first time tripping balls on shrooms, and I took a full 4 Gs.
Oh, you were doing a heroic dose. So yeah.
Well, because I was already
you're a small guy.
Well, I was like, well, fucking 8th. I'll just do 4, and I've already done acid over 40 times at this point. So I took it, and usually, so me and my friend. Listen, guys, I do not do this anymore, and I do not recommend this to anybody unless you are with somebody in a religious state, and that's okay with your religion or anything like that. I won't disclose where or how I did this, but that was also when I was younger. I was in high school. I was also young and dumb. I have to preface all of this. I am not advocating for this. What I will say is, if you ever do it, don't ever fucking touch Call of Duty. But my point being is, I'm sitting there. The plan was I pop him, my friend pops him. We both play Xbox. He's at his house. I'm where I'm at. And not where I'm at now, but I'm where I was at. And usually it takes about 40 minutes to an hour for these things to kick in, and Warzone had come out. Well, I guess I was just out of high school then. Warzone had just come out. We were like, fuck it. We'll run a match of Warzone. That'll last 20 minutes. And then we'll go and use the bathroom and shit and come back, whatever. But we are running across the fucking... We'd eaten too. We're running across the fucking field next to the airport with our boy Gage. Because he joined us.
Gage Groscoit. Wow.
Bro, so he had German name or whatever. He had zero idea what the fuck was going on. He had no idea what was going on. So we're figuring, it's just not gonna kick in that fast. So we're chilling. And he joins us. He's like, yeah, Warzone. We're like, yeah, cool. We're running across this field, and all of a sudden, 3 different fucking squads, one of which with a sniper on the fucking mountain, and one of which with a sniper on top of the airport, just starts lighting us up. There's no cover. We're in the middle of the field. My screen just starts getting redder and redder and redder and redder, and then I just fucking die. And I was like, at that point, I felt it, because you know what it feels like, motherfucker. You feel it in your chest. And I felt it, and I was like, "Oh!"
I haven't done a heroic dose like you, but yeah,
I was like,
I get you a little.
You know how it makes your fucking chest feel like it's bumping?
No, I would just get jaw lock. Okay, no, you did a heroic dose, bro. Okay, you gotta. That's different. All right.
So I'm fucking bumping, and I'm sitting there. My friend is quiet. I'm quiet. I go down. He goes down. And then our boy Gage is just like, guys, what's going on, guys? And then he goes down, and we're just like, what the fuck? I got headphones on, bro. My ear, it's just these are really good fucking headphones, too. And I'm like, oh, fuck, bro. It's starting now. I go to the gulag. I just fucking stood there. I was like, I'm done. I'm over with it. Just fucking come kill me. I don't care. I'm not even looking at the screen. I fucking turn it off. I don't turn it off. We get killed. And Gage just goes, fuck! And then we dip. And he's like, you guys want to play another one? And it took a good, a minute and a half of him asking that question before Brock and I both answered. And we're both at, literally around the same time just said, no. And then I texted him, and I was like, dude, I gotta hit the bathroom. That shit that made me want to throw up. And he's like, me too. We both went in the bathroom. Neither one of us threw up. Came back in. I'm like, yo, I need like 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go outside and smoke. And like, and I was like, okay, like, keep in mind, we're on Xbox talking on the mic. I'm laying on the couch, and I'm like,